Hi there, my name's Zoe and I teach a bit of chair yoga around us. And so this is primarily for the lovely women that I teach chair yoga to, but this is also for anyone that needs slightly more gentle yoga. We're going to start with a standing sequence, using the chair for balance as and when you want, and then lead down to sitting on the chair for some more poses. And this is for anyone who can't perhaps get out as much as they used to be able to, perhaps isolating a bit more, to move your body to connect to your breath again, and just to perhaps come out of your head for a little bit into your body. So I hope you enjoy. So the only thing you'll need is a hard chair to use. Other than that, you don't need any yoga clothes or anything. We're going to start by coming up to standing, if I can stand up straight, and we're going to place the hands on the body. So bring your feet to hip width apart, and your feet are parallel, so quite important that just check whether you turn your toes out naturally or perhaps you pigeon toe, so bring your feet to parallel. Place one hand over the centre of your chest and the other hand just over where your diaphragm is, just below the upper rib cage. And then close your eyes. See if you can lift up through the crown of the head. And then let's take 4 really slow, steady, conscious breaths. So just notice what you feel there. Notice how your breath is. It might feel quite different to breathe deeply. Perhaps you haven't consciously breathed for a little while. Perhaps there's a sense of grabbing at the top or the bottom, and could you smooth that out? And not even care about getting to the full range of your breath. You're just lengthening, but trying to find an easy, soft breath. Good. Next time, whenever you're ready, allow a slow breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, we're going to take a big sigh out of the mouth. So could you feel your shoulders soften, your jaw soften? Then from there, bring your hands in prayer and start to reach your arms all the way up above your head. Good. Press down into your feet, stretch the arms up if you want to, and your neck feels okay, you can lift your gaze up a little bit. I'm then going to ask you to bring your hands shoulder width apart, and then just bend your elbows and drop the hands down behind your back. And here sometimes it's quite nice to imagine you're perhaps holding onto a handkerchief or something of that distance, of that shoulder width distance, and you're starting to lift it up on the inhale and drop it back behind you on the exhale. There might be a little sense of lifting through the chest, through the back of the body as well. Perhaps on your exhale you might start to bend your knees and the shoulders can come forward a little bit, and we'll do 2 more like that. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, dusting that handkerchief back behind you, working into the shoulders and the upper back. And you just do as much or as little as you can do. There's nothing about perfecting these poses. It's simply movement. So if your pose looks different, that's great. Doesn't matter. Reach your arms up and imagine you're holding that handkerchief and you're circling it round above your head. So you have a little softness in your knees. You press down into your feet and you use your belly quite strongly. So you're pulling in and up with the lower belly. Now this might be small, gentle circles, or you may feel comfortable making them a little bit bigger. Change direction whenever you're ready. And you can have a little play around. The arms don't have to stay straight. It might be with a bent elbow and a sense of lifting. Perhaps you might get the odd crack in the back of the body as there is a little release. From there, come back to the centre, allow breath in. And from there, head that handkerchief over to one side as you exhale, and inhale back to the centre. Go at your own pace of breath, if I'm quicker or slower. But every time you inhale, could your spine get longer? And as you exhale, could your belly get stronger? Good. Inhaling to the centre and exhaling, and you've got that softness in your knees still, and your feet are pressing down. Okay, from there we're going to change it up and come more on a diagonal. So you're reaching forward, a really good bend in your knees. Both hands reach forward and then back over the opposite shoulder. Good. Again, have a little play around. This might be a small, gentle movement, or you might start to get a sense of opening up into the right rib cage, down to the right hip. Well, let's do one more of those. Breath in and breath out. Great, and then you'll change directions, reaching over. So my arms are starting to feel it. I'm sure yours are too. But just question. You might want to not do quite as many, but just question whether you can perhaps challenge yourself. Exhaling over. Last one. Okay, lovely. From there, give your arms a little shake out. They've done lots of work. Shake them out in any way that feels okay. Perhaps up into the shoulders. Then we'll interlace the hands behind the back. Allow your chest to lift, your shoulders to roll back, and you could bring your hands away from your body a little bit. And we'll allow some slow breaths into the front of the body, the chest, the collarbones. Expanding the rib cage, the chest, and contracting on the exhale. So we're trying to change the shape that we get into quite a lot. Sitting down, driving, if you're driving anywhere at the moment, I'm not, but maybe someone is. Watching telly, sleeping, we're all a bit rounded. It's our natural, comfortable position. It's our natural default position. So we're trying to reverse that. So shoulders back, lower back lengthens, middle and upper back lengthen, and then you breathe into that shape. Okay, from there, release your hands, bend your elbows out to the side. We're going to bend the knees quite deeply. There's some length in the lower back. Breath in. And as you exhale, wave your arms forward and bring the back of the hands in towards each other. Inhale, again, this expanding of the chest. And exhale, a little sense of roundness in the back of the body, upper back. I'm offering, as always, a blueprint, and you might change up how you move, depending on how your body feels. One more. Good. Come all the way up. Breath in, the arms reach up above your head, and then exhale, lower your arms down. Bring your feet to wider than hip width, so they're probably quite nice and wide apart, and I'm going to ask you just to do some big circles with your hips. So the main cause of injury in the body is apparently lack of movement. So the more we can move our body, the more we invite fluid into the joints, the more we get the muscles to release. And the more conscious, the more proprioception, the more aware we are of our bodies themselves. So you're going to keep changing directions, do one or two on each side, releasing into the glutes and the hips and the lower back. From there, I'll mirror you. So you stand your left foot down firm, you bring your right foot a little bit out in front of you, and you're going to just lift that right knee up and drop it down. Now you have your chair here, so for any balance, and I should have said that before this, for any balance you can lean on the chair. And this lift might be tiny, it might just be the toes off the floor, that's great. Or it might be big, doesn't matter. Perhaps you might weave in the breath, inhaling to lift up, and exhaling to lower, and you're strengthening the hip flexors. Good, strengthening the quadricep, one more. Okay, this time I'm going to invite you to lift that knee up, and you can take your hand off the chair if you want to really work the balance, or you can support yourself there. If it feels okay, could you kick that foot out in front of you? And that is really strong. Makes me want to kind of grimace and not do it anymore. So could you counteract that? Lift the leg up nice and high, and then pull the leg out behind you, or the foot out behind you. If it's accessible, take hold of the foot and press that thigh forward. And if it's not accessible, just have the leg lifted and press your thigh forward equally. The hips push forward, the lower back lengthens, and you're just creating some length into that quadricep. From there, kick your right heel out in front of you, breath in to stand up tall, and as you exhale, fold over that right leg. So the bum pushes out behind you, hands can just rest on the thighs, and here you're trying to release into your hamstring, perhaps up into your glutes. So could you send the breath to any tight areas that you feel? One more long breath there. Perfect, and lift yourself back up. Okay, and the other side. So press down, you might want to change sides with your chair, so you've got the support on the opposite side. You're going to lift up as you breathe in, and lower as you exhale. And if you're doing anything else, it's great. Just don't worry about getting them right, even the breath. Just giving it a go. Good, the lifts might be little, they might be good, big. See what you're doing with your standing leg. So I've started to go into kind of autopilot, and I'm not really using my standing leg, so I need to remind myself to press down into that foot to try and activate your glute, my glute on that side, and to pull the belly in and up. And then suddenly that whole leg is starting to sing at you as well and be used properly. This time lift the knee up, you can hold here, and that might be plenty, or you can kick your foot out in front of you, which is really me. Lift up, breathe into it, you can make a good scrunch up with the face if that's what needs to happen, and then let that foot swing out behind you. Take hold of the foot if that is accessible, and if not, just allow a little moment with the foot out behind you. Press your thigh forward. And you can really feel into your sensations. So what does it feel like in your leg, in your quadricep, in your hip flexor and your psoas that run across the left hip there? Good, and then let the heel come out in front of you. Bend your right knee quite deeply. There's a breath in as you lengthen your spine, and then slowly, slowly exhale, fold. And you've always got your chair there if the balance is a little bit wobbly. The bum pushes out behind you, and you just have a little fiddle about, just seeing where for you does that get the hamstring muscle. You might be much more lifted, or you might be dropped down. We'll allow one more long breath in here, and a full breath out. Okay, and then come all the way up, and we'll shake the legs out. Get the blood moving, get the energy moving. You can stamp your feet a bit. Good for the bones to stamp the feet. Maybe you might let the whole body become involved in the shake. The shoulders and the hips. And I love a teacher I practice with says, let your flabby bits shake, which always gets a good smile, gets a good laugh. Anyway, okay. So now we're going to come down to sit on our chair. So bring your hard-bottomed chair out in front of you, and go as though you're going to sit down. You're going to have your feet hip-width apart. You're going to start to reach your hands out in front of you and touch or dust the bottom down to the chair, and then pull yourself back up. So it's as though you're about to ease yourself into your chair, and you can do this in any chair at home. Do this before you sit down for lunch, for breakfast. Really good. Hamstrings, glutes. The muscles supporting the knees and the ankles and the hips. Really good. Breath in and out. Doesn't matter where you're breathing, but just keep that long, conscious breath. Last one. This time I'm going to ask you to hover if you can bear it. See if you can press into all four corners of the feet. You might even lift your toes. Lengthen your lower back, pull your belly in. And then from there, slowly, slowly, let your bum come down and sit yourself on your chair. Bring yourself forward on your chair, so you're not sat right back, slumped back. Your bottom is perched on the edge of the chair, but so you're kind of safely perched. And from there, just extend your right foot out in front of you and allow a little ankle release. So point your toes, roll your foot perhaps from side to side, and just do a little, any movement that you can do, clicking your toes, pulling the foot back. Slide your foot back towards you, and on the ball of your foot, drop your heel. So you're on the ball of your foot and you drop your heel down towards the ground. Good. Okay, from there, lift the leg up and interlace your hands around that shin. Lift your chest up, press your shin into your hands, and feel the back of the body come online, and also hopefully that right glute. Good, lengthen the breath, lengthen the crown of the head up and away from the body, and the shoulders roll back. Okay, from there, let's cross the leg over, so you're coming into a little hip opener. You can either stay like this, or you can cross the ankle. If that's not accessible, you can cross the ankles over one another. Inhale to lift up tall, the right foot is flexed, and as you exhale, you start to fold your torso forward over your thigh. And you can stay there. You could maybe close your eyes here and just bring your awareness not only back onto your breath and the length of your breath, but also back onto anything happening on the body. What is the sensation? Where is it? And what are you doing with that sensation? Are you holding off from it and avoiding it? Or could you perhaps lean into it, explore what that is, or what that feels like to lean into it? Good. Lift yourself all the way back up, and then cross that right leg over. Lift your chest up as you breathe in. And as you exhale, turn yourself to the right, rolling the shoulders back. We'll allow 3 slow breaths here. And this isn't a forceful pushing pose, but there's a sense of pulsing with the breath. There's a sense of expanding as you breathe in, and then contracting and turning as you breathe out, a sense of almost raveling and unraveling the spine. Good. Bring yourself back to the center. Uncross your legs. Reach that right arm all the way up, and your left hand is on the chair, and you're going to come into a little side stretch all the way up and over. Allow a breath here. Big breath in, and as you exhale, keep reaching, but this time in a big circle, so your torso will lean forward, your inhale sweep up, and exhale over. You want to use the feet, and as always, use the belly. Okay, and then come back up. Lift your left leg up, interlace your hands around your left shin, and lift up. The shoulders roll back. The shin will start to press forward into your hands until you feel that left glute come online, and perhaps the back of the body start to activate. And then from there you take your breath, all the while getting longer and wider, even if it's a millimetre, more length, more space. Okay, from there, cross the ankle over the top of the opposite thigh, or one ankle on top of the other. There's a breath in to lift up tall. And as you exhale, you slowly start to fold forward until you feel that sensation into your glute, your hip, your pelvis, perhaps your hamstring. Might even run into your lower back. Could you imagine you're breathing space into that whole area? So perhaps the eyes closing here makes you less aware of the distractions, the visual distractions around you, and more aware of the sensations that you feel. And you might choose to lean into it and then perhaps pull away as you inhale, so there's that little sense of pulsing or moving with the breath. Okay, lift yourself back up. Allow that leg to cross over, and if that's just the shin, that's absolutely fine. You're going to breathe in and sit up tall. And then as you exhale, turn yourself to the left. Notice the shoulders have a habit of trying to round in. We talked about that rounded shape earlier. So you're just going to pull the shoulders back, lift up through the chest and those collarbones, and fill that space with your breath. Could the exhale turn you any further? Maybe, maybe not. Could it be less about forcing your body and more about using your breath to sculpt or mold your body over to that side? Okay, soften the neck, soften the jaw. Okay, from there, turn yourself to face forward. Feet are a generous hip width apart. Left arm reaches all the way up, right hand comes onto the side of the chair. Careful you don't do it from a slump position. You sit up tall, and then as you exhale, you reach all the way over to the right. The head hangs. The breath runs down into that left rib cage, into that lower left rib cage, or lower left lobe of the lung. Good, nice wide breaths. On your next exhale, you keep going with that reach, and you sweep in big or small circles, depending on what your body feels. It makes me want to groan a bit. It's like really unraveling. I don't know about you, but except for in yoga, we don't often do these moves during the day, so it can feel quite strong, but really good for the body. Okay, come all the way back up. Good. From here, start to squeeze your shoulders up towards the ears and then back. And again, these you can do as you want. You could hold for a moment or two and that squeeze up as though someone was squeezing on your shoulders, and then roll back. And then perhaps change direction, do a couple rolling forward. From there, bring your thumbs to the base of your skull and run your thumbs up the back of the head. So this is like a little self-massage. You run the thumbs up to the back of your head and you pause. And if you have hair to hold, perhaps lift your hair up so it gives more of a sense of length for the cervical spine. And we'll do that 2 more times. So just in your own time, running your thumbs up the back of the head. Close the eyes if that feels okay. You get more from it sensation-wise. Same last one again. And this time, just take hold of the side of your head with your hands and just move your head in any way that it wants to move, using the gentle pressure of the hands to create a bit of space through the head, the neck, the jaw, that whole area that holds a lot of tightness, a lot of tension without us necessarily realizing. Good. From here, if any of you ever crick your neck, I'm going to offer you something which helps contract and then loosen up the neck muscles. So it will feel a little bit strange to do it, but hopefully it is beneficial. Bring my chair a little bit closer. Bring your right hand to the side of your face. Lift up nice and tall. So the thumb probably heads underneath the ear and the fingers are up to the temples. Press your hand into your face and your face into your hand. And you create a contraction on the opposite side of the neck. Let the jaw be soft, and then take about 5 to 7 breaths to get your head looking all the way over your right shoulder, but keeping pressing the head to the hand and the hand to the head. Keep breathing. It's easy to hold the breath. And you might be thinking, what is she getting me doing? Or you might have walked off already, but I promise you this is really effective in releasing those tight neck muscles, and you get the head as far around as you can, all the while pressing. And I know your arm will be starting to shout at you a bit. And then let go of that hand, bring your head back to the center, and just hopefully notice that there's a little bit more ease now with turning your head to one side. The muscles have contracted in order to release. And we'll change sides. Sit up tall, find that pressure, that manageable pressure, and then allow those slow breaths. And the slower you can do this, the more time you take, the more effective it will be for your neck. Press as hard as you can, hand and face, allowing that neck to contract. Your shoulders will be working as well. Rhomboids in line. Head all the way over as far as you can. And when you can't turn the head anymore, give it one last bit of pressure, get all you can from it, and then release the head and the hand. Bring the head back to the center, and just perhaps notice a little bit more ease in the neck. The last little thing I'm going to offer you is a little jaw release. So if you bring your finger, your index finger, onto your cheekbone at the top, and then drop your index finger down about an inch, and you'll find hopefully the soft muscle of the jawbone. Allow your teeth to part a little bit, sit up nice and tall, and press your fingers into that muscle. It should feel really quite tender. So just go on the side so you can see where I'm pressing. Your jaw muscle is the strongest muscle by size in your body, so it's obviously does your eating, your chewing, and that will make it quite tense. but especially at the moment, there's a lot of jaw clenching, and any times of stress or unease, our jaw takes a lot of the challenge. So this action, as strange as it seems, is a massage for your jaw, helping to release. So as much as you can bear, give it a good press in, perhaps close the eyes, breathe into that strong, intense sensation, if it's anything like what I've got going on. I'm quite a big jaw clencher. And you can then do little circles or little rolls around that area. You could use one index finger, or perhaps let your middle finger join in. And just some awareness of what parts of the body take hits during stress. Good. Whenever you feel like you've had enough, bring your arms down, let your bum shuffle back into your chair, and bring your legs a little bit wider than hip width. And you can slump here a little bit. You don't want to completely collapse, but you can rest your upper body. Close your eyes. Allow a slow, kind breath in. And a big sigh out. See if you can soften into that sigh. Let's do one more breath like that. Big breath in. And a big sigh out. You can make quite a lot of noise. Softening shoulders, arms, hips, backs and legs. And letting your breath become quite soft now, quite subtle. And just soaking up your practice. And the aim is to try and still the chatter of the mind, if only for a minute or two. It might well pull you out and distract you. But perhaps you can catch it in the act, and you can pull it back and be conscious of any sensations, the rise and fall of the breath. Perhaps you might be aware of any sounds going on around you outside of the room. Perhaps you can hear outside any birds or roads, outside noises. And then allow that awareness to drop in a level, and could you be aware of any sounds within the house or within the room that you're in, perhaps? Allow that to drop in one more level and bring your awareness onto your body and your skin. What does your skin feel like? What does it feel like under your clothed skin? And then any bare skin that touches the air. And just asking your mind to be present. Bring your awareness now a level in again onto your breath. Without changing your breath, what does it feel like for your body to breathe? Where is the rise and fall? And then we'll allow the breath to start to lengthen. And could there be a sense of breathing to that still place in the body? Breathing in balance and steadiness. Breathing in calm. Whenever you're ready, just stretch your body. Keep your eyes closed perhaps. Stretch your body in any way that feels good. Arms might reach up. You might have a little wriggle around. Same with the legs. And then you're just going to sit yourself away from the back of the chair and bring your hands into prayer position. We'll allow a big breath in. And a last big sigh out, just how we started. Good, one more time. A breath in. And a sense of letting go as you exhale, sighing out of the mouth. Bring your thumbs to your forehead. Give thanks for your breath, for your movement, for your life. Namaste. Good, thank you all so much. I hope that you feel a little bit calmer and maybe a little bit like the body has worked a little bit, and I will try and do some more videos when I have time. Thank you, stay well, stay safe, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.